Former White House chef Sam Kass is on a mission to help Americans eat better. Kass served as a personal chef to the Obama family and senior advisor for nutrition policy at the administration. While in the White House, Kass led First Lady Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign and worked to set new, healthier standards for school lunches.
Sam Kass also helped persuade Walmart to lower the price of its fruits and vegetables and cut sugar and sodium content from its packaged foods. His new cookbook is called Eat a Little Better, Great Flavor, Good Health, Better World. Kass writes about small changes that can help improve our health and the planet. Sam Kass joins us at the table. Thank you so much. We're so glad you're here. And also, we should note you're married to Alex Wagner, one of our
double plus.
That's the real headline right there.
It's such a beautiful cookbook, and I'm glad you're sharing so much of what you learned. But you say eat a little better. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think so much we're told is that there's this perfect diet, there's this right way to eat. It's very aspirational, and the reality is most people don't actually eat that way, even the people who are espousing these perfect diets that are utopic. We need to focus on just making progress. And little steps that people can put into their daily lives that can actually have a big impact on their family's health and on the environment. And if you get too big and all, go for the stars, most people fail and then get really demoralized.
As someone who fails repeatedly on this front, help me. What little step can I take? I'm in the market. What step should I take?
I think the first thing that people can do is try to set themselves up for success. Right now, we buy a bunch of food, we put it or surround us in our homes, and then we end up making bad choices. You eat what you see. And so you want to put things on your counter, in your fridge, that you're actually trying to eat. And put the treats on the top shelf, so when you want one, you still have it, but it's when you really want it, as opposed to, oh, I saw that cookie, I'm going to eat that cookie.
And that's what you helped with the Obamas. When you first met Michelle Obama, you helped clean out their pantry.
Yep, and it makes a huge difference, because now the kids are running through the kitchen, and instead of grabbing a bag of chips, they're grabbing some grapes because they're just getting what's around them.
And I can attest, John is in the market, too, because he talks about it every morning. So it's great to have you on because you've made this move to New York City.
Do you make house calls?
I'm sure
Bring you into aisle 3.
Special exceptions, right?
Yeah.
But you talk about kids and the influence we mentioned that you had in school systems in the country about making food healthier. We've seen the Trump administration turn that around, really, and say that it's either too costly and that a lot of these healthier foods are actually being thrown away. If you could do anything now to change maybe the initial plan you had, what would that be?
Well, I think it's first important just to note that the vast majority of what we did around nutrition and health in schools is still intact. There's a little tweaking around the edges, but the majority of what we accomplished is there. Because the fact of the matter is, moms and families and parents, they want good food for their kids in schools. I think the program needs more money. One of the things, first and foremost, one of the things that's most concerning right now is proposals from the GOP to roll back SNAP, School Nutrition Assistance Program, kicking millions of vulnerable Americans off of food stamps. So, that's very concerning. But we need to invest in our kids' well-being. It's the foundation of a thriving economy. It's the foundation of a thriving healthcare system. And if we don't, we're going to see costs continue to skyrocket in the decades to come.
And you're a new father. How has that helped change how you look at food and feed your kid? And, you want them to eat healthy, but at times you just want them to eat, right?
Yeah. Sometimes, you just got to eat something,
right.
kid. It's been maybe the great joy of my life. It really brings it close to home. You see what you're feeding your kid shapes what they're going to like for their whole lives. And if they're getting really sweet foods from the outset, that's what they're going to want from age 2, 3, 7, and beyond. So getting kids off to the right start is the most important thing we can do as a society.
Is there a way, mine are a little bit older now than they were, but is there a food that you can sneak by them that's good for them, but that they might actually tolerate? Because I remember the days of fries and white bread and pasta.
Right. Look, I think what we found in the White House and with the First Lady, when we got kids involved, so either planting the garden or deciding, what they're going to buy or participating in the cooking process, that really opened their minds up to trying new things because they took ownership of whatever it was that they were eating. And that, I think, is the best strategy. Kids like all kinds of foods if you make it taste even halfway good. But if it doesn't taste good, they're not going to eat it. Right. That's sort of a foundation.
Yeah, I made a tomato sauce last night, and I sneak in the carrots and the red pepper. And my son, who doesn't like vegetables, loves it.
Yeah.
He eats it all up.
Yep.
And I liked that the first chapter you had in here is grill and eat more vegetables. That was the first place you started. Because I think people are scared about how to cook vegetables.
Yeah, and like there's nothing that makes something taste better than a grill.
Yeah.
And it couldn't be easier. Put a little olive oil on it, some salt and pepper, maybe a little lemon, and anything you put on there tastes good. And I think we focus so much on what we're supposed to do, but what I try to do a lot in this book is to focus on the how.
Yeah.
The vast majority of Americans are trying to eat better, but they're failing. And they're failing because we don't actually give strategies and to implement these changes in our daily lives. And so everybody ends up falling short and then just sort of throwing their hands up and giving up. But if we make these kind of steps, not only can we transform our own health, but have a huge impact on the environment. I mean, food and agriculture is the #2 driver of climate change, of greenhouse gas emissions, and it's the #1 cause of preventable death and disease. So if we can solve some of these fundamental problems into what we're eating every day, have a huge impact on so many of the challenges that we're facing.
Not many people have an impact on the president and the first family the way you have. You write in the book that the Secret Service got used to you running through the White House because you had to have dinner on the table by 6:30.
Yeah.
What was it like? I mean, now looking back, you've had a few years to reflect on working with the first family and feeding them, literally.
Yeah. Well, it was first the greatest honor of my life, and I think will always be. It was intense, and, you know, because of all the policy work and Let's Move, working for the First Lady, you know, dinner was like, I felt often like a sort of a single parent, like, oh my God, I got to get dinner on the table, I got 30 minutes. But the thing that struck me most was that no matter where he was or where she was, they had dinner as a family. Unless he was overseas or in California, they ate as a family every night, and he left everything that he was dealing with at the door.
Okay, St. Kass, we're going to have to go. Eat a Little Better goes on sale tomorrow.